Howdy, partners. Welcome back to Let's Play Red Dead Redemption 2 on the Mysterious JG. Things really seem to be building up to a point of no return pretty damn soon here. As I've already revealed, I know for a fact there's going to come a point where our protagonist changes. There's a fairly lengthy epilogue chapter, and Red Dead Redemption, the original game, already set the pattern where the main character would play through the main story, and there would be free roam after the story was over where you could play as someone else. And this game, it's an interesting way they did it. Hats off to them, honestly, because nobody playing Red Dead Redemption 2 would probably have a good feeling that Arthur Morgan, who's never mentioned in Red Dead Redemption and is just kind of inserted as a protagonist in the Vanderlyn gang, which we know is doomed. Even as if you play Red Dead Redemption and you know the backstory of Red Dead Redemption, then you know the Vanderlyn gang is doomed. You know that something horrible is going to happen and it's all going to fall apart. So, telling the story of how that happens is still an interesting story to tell, but you're not playing through this game thinking that Arthur Morgan is very likely to escape at the end, and I guess there's ways it could have gone. He could have become a Pinkerton, and that's why he's still alive in Red Dead Redemption. But the idea that he would never be mentioned by John Marston in the future, the traitor, that seems odd. So it just seemed a lot more likely, considering the pattern Red Dead Redemption, the original game, set. A game in which the first time I played through, I wasn't trying real hard to see ahead of the story, so I was surprised when John Marston died. But, subsequent playthroughs, yeah, it is pretty heavily foreshadowed. But in this game, the fact that Arthur Morgan has a terminal illness really makes it kind of like, okay, they've kind of removed the tension of trying to figure out whether or not Arthur's going to live by being like, no, Arthur's not going to live. Now it's just a matter of where things are going to go. And also, honestly, there's a couple of characters, like, I keep wanting to call her Annie Get Your Gun. Sadie. Sadie is her actual character name. Sadie and Charles. There are folks like Pearson that can probably just... They might end up getting killed horribly, or they might just melt into the background. We know Uncle obviously is going to live. We know John and Abigail and Jack Marston are going to live. Dutch and Bill Williamson and Javier Escuela will survive. But there are other characters who are still around who feel important, like Sadie and Charles and Micah. I'm real interested to see where things are going to go. And I don't know, I'm getting into it more, like the gloom and doom. Like, there's whole stretches of the game where we're just kind of out there doing missions, and it's fun, but it doesn't really feel like the story's going anywhere. Now it's like, yeah, shit's getting real. Dutch needs to speak with us, his last boy. And considering what the two of us survived together, as angry as we can be at Dutch right now, if he really thinks of us as a traitor, that seems pretty harsh, but at the same time, we've been actively telling everyone in the gang that now's the time to leave. It's time to abandon Dutch. So in a sense, Dutch's paranoia has become a self-fulfilling prophecy. As he got more paranoid and more secretive and started working together with Micah and not really letting the rest of the gang in on what's happening, like everything he feared, he made it come to pass. Because now Arthur and Hosea were his most loyal lieutenants. Hosea's gone. He and Arthur had already had misgivings together. It's we don't know exactly what Hosea would be saying if he were still kicking, but Arthur's telling people it's time to ditch. Although it seems like Arthur himself, possibly because he knows his expiration date is past here, he's running on fumes. He's on his last legs. He's trying to set up good lives for everyone else and be this kind of like selfless martyr. But it seems like Arthur plans to see this through to the end. Let's see what the end is. I don't know if this is the last mission. It might be, it might not. There might be several more missions after this, but it feels like it's got to be over pretty soon.
She's dead. Well, I'm glad she shot her. deserved it. And truth be told, I never liked her anyway.
She was a bit stuck up.
And she betrayed us.
You don't know that.
She told us.
She was in love. She would have said anything. Who knows what she did or didn't do?
Oh, the shadow.
What do you think, Arthur?
You got anything to say?
If she betrayed us, if she really
You just like
did,
to come in and listen to our gossip?
well, it's a bad business either way. But I'm confused like both of you.
I'm sorry I never got you that pen, Mary
She has
Beth.
to go.
Unless
It's
I did, I don't
bad,
remember now.
but
Tilly, I do believe you got a cold heart.
now you know that ain't true.
Of course it ain't. but
Tilly's been through... Well, then why did you say it? Tilly's been through some stuff Mary Beth
Me
hasn't
too.
been through. I mean, come on.
Me too.
I don't know what to tell you, Mary Beth. Things are tense right now.
Maybe you should ride with
How
Moss.
do we fix this?
I ain't sure. Really ain't. We'll work something out. Anyway, I'll leave you to it.
Try to keep warm.
Yeah, Arthur.
I just don't think Molly could have told him that much.
If she told them where we are, that's enough.
True. Okay. Guess I'll see you later then.
Try to keep warm. We're running out of opportunities for Bobo's frantic explanations of how the frickin' map screen here works to make any difference to me as we try to figure out what, Yeah, it says companion, but Bobo seems to believe that indicates where our personal stuff is at, like our own little corner of the camp, which might make sense too. Or Pearson just got up and left right in the middle of all this. I haven't donated in a while. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of point to that. I was thinking about this last night, actually. The whole donate mechanic. Well, you know what? I'll come back to it later. We kind of ran out of things to buy for the camp
Who are those
too
two
early.
freaky fellas over with Micah?
Two guns he knows?
Oh,
What
God.
the hell they doing here?
I have no idea.
Arthur,
We didn't get an option on this convo.
this ain't good.
You're gonna be okay. But be ready. Just be ready.
You never know when Gangrel and the Brood might give you a bloodbath. I guess doesn't get to tell her about his secret conversations with Arthur. Oh, and Susan. I feel bad for Susan. The little bit we got to know about her, she seemed like a really fun character.
Poor
Or Karen. She really made a huge difference in my life, the way I forgot her name.
Why are you doing this to yourself?
You ain't looking too fine neither.
That's true.
Okay, I'll leave you to it.
Whatever you say.
Maybe you can even get your hand back out of the dirt where you seem to have... your model seems to... Oh, never mind. Their hand does exist. I thought it had phased into the earth. Abigail's got nothing to say. Mary Beth, we already talked to.
Long day ahead.
Yes, hi.
I didn't say hi.
It's gonna be alright.
Switched over from
I feel like
Mary
a
Beth to
prisoner here.
Arthur there.
We won't be here for too long. Just need an escape plan.
Luck, tuberculosis. So I guess Bobo suggested maybe we're supposed to read a letter. Take cigar, gammon flour, potent miracle tonic, bed. Arthur's horseshoe, Hosea, Dutch, and Arthur. Arthur's dog. Arthur's father. Fast travel or something like that used to be available from this location. I don't know if we're ever going to settle the mystery of the companion. I have a feeling it's not something that's a huge game-changing thing. Unless you're the companion, but no. She was before. There was a period before where we actually sat down and talked to her and really had a heart-to-heart that I thought maybe they were supposed to be more than just passing acquaintances.
We can't support a drunk, miss.
Oh, go scratch your sores, you old bag.
Excuse me? You heard.
Damn.
Drunk or sober, you watch your mouth.
Miss Grimshaw?
Yes, morning.
Okay, can't support a drunk. Well, what was the Reverend Swanson doing that whole time?
Hey, Karen.
How you feeling about getting backhanded?
I'm worried about you.
Oh, not you two. Leave me alone, all of you.
Okay. Just checking.
Sure, Arthur.
Uncle, you just got backhanded by Miss Grimshaw too, or Uncle appears to be dead. Oh no, Snake! You've created a temporal paradox.
Good morning.
I don't like waking up in this place.
You okay?
I want to sleep
Can
forever.
I go play with the skulls?
All right, kids, you're getting dark now.
No. Just stay away from that cave.
Okay. I wish people would stop being mean.
I wish they would enjoy the skulls as I do. This could be our last video at camp here. It really is fun to catch up with everybody again. Even though we're not allowed to talk to any of them. Here's the Traders Club. I believe Charles... Yeah, this is Arthur's little gang that he's formed of people who are no longer siding with Dutch. And we're not allowed to talk to any of them, it seems like. That's Marston in the middle, isn't it? Yeah, this is our little cadre of guys. Oh, I guess we're all really... Here's
Why are these two still
Javier and...
old pals of Mike's? They're getting real comfortable.
We need guns for what's coming. Cleet and Joe know how to fight. It's lucky I bumped into them.
What is going on, Dutch?
Would
What
like
is
to
happening
add
to us?
talented criminal elements to our
Show
gang.
some respect.
Excuse me.
Mr. Vanderlyn! Mr. Morgan! Charles! They try to kill my people for oil! For oil! Today we ride once more! Ride with me! Ride with us! Ride with us against the factory!
I love your courage, son.
But you're a distraction for us.
Great beauty.
Stop! Everyone stop!
Oh, it's a coincidence. He arrives
My
right
son.
as they're getting here.
My last son. Don't. When I was your age, I fought. I saw death. I have killed. The men I knew were slain. My firstborn, your brother, had his head smashed by a drunken soldier. My wife had her throat slit.
That be your mom, or
I made peace. I knew not to trust, yet I had no choice. Maybe you were right.
Dutch, are you
Maybe
gonna
the
fuck
slow
this up?
death is worse than the fast one. Maybe none of these men are good. Maybe a world in which they came to us is a world that we cannot endure. But endure we must.
Father, you are
yeah,
Do not die for pride, my son.
endure.
We have suffered too much in this trick. The earth, the water, they have no pride. They endure, and we must endure.
An interesting
My
point.
only boy, my precious boy, do not mistake my strength for weakness. As your chief, I implore you.
Your words mean nothing to me, father.
Don't.
Dutch is my father now.
Stop.
Don't stop
Please.
thinking about tomorrow.
Stop.
This is actually really sad.
Please. Mr. Morgan. Have to help me after we spoke. This is just a trap. My son, my people will all die.
You help this fellow, Arthur?
Please.
How?
What of it?
What else you been doing behind Dutch's back?
What?
The wars are over. We have lost. These young men will be annihilated. Please.
I'll see what I can do. Charles?
Dutch must know about all of your
Oh,
activities.
all right, Arthur. Who knows what other secrets I'll learn about? Who else?
I will.
And me. Me
I'm out.
Oh, and me. I guess.
Whatever. Well, what is
All
Dutch
right.
angry? He doesn't even know what we
Let's
did.
ride out.
He just figures anything we did that isn't sabotaging the natives is not part of his plan because he's basically screwed them over completely.
What else have you been doing behind my back, Arthur?
Oh, all sorts
I
of
was
wagon
trying
stealing
to
missions.
Stop this mess from getting any worse.
Hey, that didn't work.
Why the hell would they attack the oil fields? What do you mean? It's perfect.
This was your idea.
This is not how this is meant to
The
go.
army, the government, the industrialists. They've taken everything from these people. Wouldn't you want to fight back?
Oh, I maximize my horse bonding by bouncing against Bill Williamson a lot.
Just like John if we hadn't got him out of that prison.
Hey, show some goddamn respect.
To the
You'll know
fact that
when
we
I
were going to
respect
abandon
Bill.
John.
I had a plan. I still have a plan. What plan? What goddamn plan, Dutch?
Plan for you to get killed.
Hey, Timbuktu.
That's enough. What's wrong with you all? What happened to loyalty?
Yeah. What did? Thank you, Javier. Bill.
Javier,
Right now,
please
it doesn't
call them
matter how
putos.
we got here. These men need our help. I have a plan. This is the plan. So either stick with me or cut loose.
Everyone cut loose.
Of this constant descent. Long tired of it. Now come on.
But what are we going to do? Are we going to actually help the natives or not? Like, what are we actually doing here? Seems like we're supposed to be creating this distraction, which is finally now happening.
It's one of them.
Are you all right, son?
This is when we should be fleeing, right?
Eagle flies. He needs help. They all need help.
Quick, somebody help him.
No, go. Please hurry. I'll be.
Come on. Yeehaw!
Okay, now they go to cinematic mode so that you can't keep bouncing your horse against other horses and screwing up the visual badassery of this.
It's a massacre.
We gotta help these men.
Did anyone see eagle flies? There. Going across the walkway. Got what you wanted, Dutch.
You coming, Arthur?
I'm gonna try and save him. This fight is unwinnable. If you go and distract them and let me get to him.
Have it your way. The rest of you, ride with me.
What is the plan? This is Dutch's plan is working. Why? We're all up in arms about how Dutch's plan is terrible for the natives, but we've been helping it along all the way, and now it's being executed, and suddenly even Dutch seems to be like, no, we're going to help them win this fight, when the whole point was staging this huge battle so that the army would be distracted and we could escape. I guess we didn't really organize that, but...
That's right. Yeah.
Go with him. Try and help there. I'm better off alone.
We're riding with you.
Come on, then.
We're the actual good guys in the game now.
That's right.
This is kind of cool. As cool as that was, it actually isn't really the way the game was designed to be played. Like, no, that was... Okay, they needed to put one of those in the game, and I'm glad they did. But, like, from a gameplay perspective, it's like, really tough if the player is responsible for taking out all the targets while also controlling the horse. Not that challenging if everyone else is doing their part. Like, all 5 or 6 of the people riding with you are also shooting the enemies, so... Not really something you can do as an extended gameplay sequence that's going to work, but I'm so glad they tried. We got a Gatling cannon. Those are bad news. Don't really have a shot on it either. Okay, well now I'm going up the tower. I don't know that I meant to do that, but it might be the best way to actually shoot this thing. Okay, never mind. Coming up here is not going to work. Particularly when game doesn't have a climb button, folks. You're just supposed to walk up to the ladder. Okay, so I'm not really doing a great job of this. Looking like a badass during this final combat. Falling out of towers, getting caught behind my men because I was trying to... Get up and on the scene.
Where are my men? We saw some fighting by the factory. That's where Dutch is gone.
Let's go, quick!
Any men we see, we must save them.
Let's find the others.
Well, I mean, unless they're the army, I
Factory
suppose.
built.
Where's Colonel Baker? Send them out here.
Not worrying about a headshot, so I'm not going to get a gold medal on this one. I'd say and then attempt a headshot.
This is it. Let's go, brothers.
Oh, I guess we missed you, huh? I have gotten a bit better at the basic game mechanics here. Although this game has a lot more scenes, although Red Dead Redemption 1 had these too, but it really feels less like you have to kill everybody. Your gang actually helps you. Wow, I almost shot Eagle Flies right in the head there. He sort of bounced around in the way. Not entirely his fault. I was...
Watch out for that Gatling gun. Look out. Oil is coming out of the train.
Typically the gunners you have to deal with yourself. Yeah, I'm trying to get one set up here.
We need
he talking to us?
That machine gun is killing us!
Okay. I don't line that one up careful. To the train. Seems like a decent place to end the video since I just took out the guy that was holding back the story there from advancing on its own. So when we come back next time, we will advance to the train. I'm the Serious JG. I want to thank you guys very much for watching. Take the train.